Hello everyone, we're back. This is Act 3 and this is the leveling guide for the Duelist. Once we enter Act 3, we're going to run here and we're going to find a lady chained to a post. Just there. And we're going to kill the guard captain. This is yet again a new character. I run the first two acts because I've been leveling a scion in the background and got all the waypoints and wanted to show you they're all there. As a result, I think I've got slightly less sockets than last time, so I'm missing maybe a skill. Okay, this area is fixed, so it's always the same way into the town. Now when we get into the town, we're going to run around the outside and exit via top right. We're not going to go into the centre of town. This town is huge and takes way too long. Okay, we got a skill point. And initially we're going to take 20% increased armour per second. You've been stationary up to a maximum of 100%. And let's continue running. In here, we're looking for a sewer grate, but that's not our primary goal this time, because it's locked. And first, we need to banish Piety. She's in the crematorium, which will be around here somewhere. I haven't found a scientific way of working through this area yet, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. It's rare, I shouldn't be killing it, but I can't help it. And for some reason, my mouse keeps zooming in, and I don't think it's me doing it. Where am I coming out? Yeah. Okay, this looks... No, this maybe not be it. Where am I? There we go. Crematorium. In here we grab the waypoint and straight out the door. And in here there is the Trial of Ascendancy and there's also Piety. Piety is marked with a quest marker and as usual the Trial of Ascendancy will be a little book. Sometimes these can be close together, other times they can be opposite sides of the arena. There's our book. Now this is a fire trap one, so the floor will burn as while it's glowing. When it stops glowing, it no longer burns. Like now, oh no, it's still warm enough. And in here, we just need to hit all these switches, get to the other side. Sometimes you'll be really unlucky and get a rare in here. I've been lucky this time and haven't got one. And now it's just finding Piety. And hopefully she doesn't get one of those green things in her, because that would be really, really bad. Kill those blues. I'll bring us back once we find Piety. There we go. That wasn't actually that long.
That somber expression doesn't
Here we get the defences rank, which is like armour and energy shield and stuff. And then we're going to kill Piety. She does heavy lightning. I don't know what my resists are right now. Ow, but she does hurt. Now, once we get her down to about half health, she'll leave. She'll say something like, enough of this.
Enough of this.
There you go, and off she goes. Now, we talk to Tolman, get his bracelet, and we log. Into town now, Maramoa, and we are going to get... What are we going to get? We are going to get... I want Pride long term, but we can't use it yet. So let's pick it up for later. And then over here to Clarissa... She's going to give us a sewer key for finding her husband's bracelet. And we are going to try and get Determination, which is there. So with Determination, we are going to put that in place of Vitality. There. Determination is going to give us a load of armour. And to go along with Determination, we're going to go to Act 1. And we are going to buy Molten Shell, which we're going to swap out for Steelskin. Now back in Act 3, we're going to run up these stairs and back out the same door we came in, because we now have the sewer key to get into the sewer. Now before we go to the sewer, I just want to make sure all my skills are on. And then let's change that to Enduring Cry. And into the sewer we go. In the sewer, we're going to run through this as quickly as possible. We need to collect 3 busts. One is located before the waypoint, the other 2 are always after the waypoint. And normally it's kind of in this direction. There we go, the first one. These are always guarded by a couple of blues. Shouldn't be much trouble. You just touch these things on the floor and the busts will drop. Now as we run through here, we're going to come across a waypoint. We do need to get this waypoint because we will need to come back this way. Failing to do so means you're going to have a walk of shame, which we want to avoid. Okay, here's our next one. Kill the blues, open the stash, grab the bust. And then we're going to head right, because that wasn't a big square. If it's a big square, it tends to be top left for your last bust, but because it's like broken up, it's going to be here. And we need to find the exit, which is always to the left. And there we go. Now in here, we're going to look for some arches. They're not that way. And they will take us through a series of monsters into the next sort of part where we're going to look for an exit. That boss there, that with a glowy shield, does a lot of damage to you, especially if you're melee, so I wouldn't suggest you fight him. Now we are going to come in here because this is where a waypoint is. If you already have a waypoint, there's absolutely no point in coming in here. And there we go. Oh no, it's not. That was teasing. This is literally going to be the last place I look, I can tell. Oh, loads of blues. It's Christmas. You can actually see, just look at that XP bar jump up. Now, Act 3 is one of the hardest acts, in my opinion. I really dislike it as well, because it's all over the place. Okay, there is the thingy. Trial. So it wasn't quite the last place I looked, but almost. And this is spinny traps, if memory. Yes, it is. These hurt like hell. They're probably one of the more dangerous traps. Ow. And we are going to try and get there. Flick that switch and then follow this round. Kill those. Grab the crafting recipe, which is elemental damage with attacks. Ow. Ow, ow. Okay, we got it. We can log. We can trade in the bus while we're here to get a skill point. And now that gives us 2. And we're going to start pathing down through this life. Grab that life next. And then straight back to the marketplace. Now in here somewhere, normally behind that thing, there is an entrance to the battlefront, if memory serves. Again, I'm not killing anything in here unless it's blue, and there we go. There's the exit. Straight into the battlefront. Now in Act 3, I do try and force myself to be pretty disciplined with regards to killing stuff, because it takes so long if you don't. And I don't want this to be my slowest Act 3 run ever, because I'm sure there's been many of those. Now, we're also starting to look for a 4-link. And towards the end of this act, if we're ready, we'll be switching over to a new skill. And that's not going to require greens, it's going to require primarily reds. In fact, if we can get 4 reds, that would be ideal. So we're going to start checking vendors as we go back to town. From level 28 onwards, I think it is, we'll start to drop 4 links at vendors. Or not drop them, but, you know, they'll start selling them. It's still rare, so you can't rely on it. And in here, we're looking for the waypoint, which is just here. We're going to grab that, and then we're going to do a level check. And we are 26. If you are 25, then I suggest you go where I'm about to go. If you're 24 or below and not even remotely close to 25, then I suggest you actually go upwards and do the next section first. And that's because the docks is a really quite high level area, so it's 29, and if you're too many levels below the area, you'll actually lose XP. Which seems a bit odd to me, but yeah, the XP penalty happens in both directions, either if you're too low level or too high level. It's not like other games where if you're below, you actually gain XP. Now, we do want as many of these as possible, because they allow us to upgrade our gear. But at the same time, he is regenerating like crazy. Okay, it's gone. I'm going to grab those boots just in case they are strong movement. And I generally pick up all boots. Are these aren't too bad. There is a mini-boss in here somewhere. And he hurts a little bit. Giant life flask. Actually, that's coming in useful because we're still on a large. Actually, we got 2. Let's switch both those out. Throw away the old ones. And I just left a wisdom scroll. And I don't think I've got too many of those to go around. Okay. It didn't die? There we go. Ooh, jewels. Now, we haven't talked so much about currency, but the currency we're picking up here, like Orb of Chance, Transmute and stuff, so far we've used them for vendor crafting. We can also use them for the crafting bench in the hideout, which I showed you in the last episode. But there's also another use for them, and that is actually crafting gear. I do have a guide on this, which I will link top right. Because crafting is actually a really powerful way, especially when you're leveling, to just boost your gear that little bit if you're not dropping anything useful. Now, I've been quite lucky this one. I think most of my gear is rare, because I've had a lot of essences. What I haven't been lucky with is sockets. I'm really struggling for sockets. I think the pass run was much, much better. Now, my axe is also pretty strong. More boots. Colossal life. Okay, there we go. Thematic sulfite, that's what we needed. Now, there is a waypoint in this area. We can go and find it if we want, because we will get decent XP from this area. That said, it's going to take me time, so I'm going to log out and come back in at the battlefront. In here, we just run upwards. Now, as I said, you'd run this area first if you're 24 or below. And up here somewhere, you will find a door. And this is the Solaris Temple. Let's put some more skill points on. We're going to go for there and there. And you'll see our life is now up at 742, so we're getting there. I think we started at somewhere like 40. So it's a big improvement. Of course, the monsters now take much more off us as they hit us, so it's as broad as it's long. Okay, once we find this waypoint, we're going to find the nearest door that isn't the entrance to it and walk out that way. And somewhere in this direction there'll be a load of stairs down to the next level. Kill these things, and on we go. Again, not killing anything unless it's rare, unless it's blue. More blues. Now these are weird ribbony things. Don't know what they're supposed to be, but they die fairly quickly. Now there is some bigger versions of those that shoot fire, and they're not pleasant. Okay, there's the stairs, down we go. In here now, first thing to check is, can we backtrack pretty close? And if we can, it's probably that way. If we can't, it's the other way. Now in here, we are looking for following the rug, but when we follow the rug, we're going to start looking for some lit up areas down each side of the rug. And that will tell us we're on the right path, or tell us to turn if we're not. Let's come and get this essence. And hit it. You'll see we got endurance charges there because there was enough monsters nearby to... Is that a rare? We're going to kill it. Just see if it drops anything decent. And then this boss. Now you'll normally pass this on the way to the exit, so we know we're roughly on the right track. And there's the lit up area, so we're definitely on the right track. Grab the waypoint, and then we're going to jump up here and talk to Lady Diala. Or not a cockroach lady. And we are going to pick up intelligence, because it's probably the most important. And it's not as good as what I've got, so I'm keeping what I've got. And grab this internal talc. Let's put on this. We are going to go for plus 50 to maximum life. That's a huge boost, up to 838. And then we're going to go straight back to the sewers. And this is why I said you had to get this waypoint. Because this fatberg here, the thematic sulfite burns it open. We can pass through, grab this crafting recipe. Physical damage. And out into the Ebony Barracks. Grab the waypoint, and we're going to head in the direction of the waypoint, up these stairs, and keep running. Something feels a bit off. I don't know what it is. There was some lag when I jumped. Ooh, maybe. So sometimes your skills act a bit weird. Yeah, where is my jump skill? There. If we click on it, you want to always make sure that your movement skill has always attack without moving. Unless it's dash. Dash reacts weird, as I explained, I think, in Act 1. In that it goes backwards. If that's on, it will always jump backwards. And I keep forgetting to use the bleed skill, which, once I put it on, actually melts stuff. Now up here, there's going to be a boss called Gravicius. He's one of the hardest bosses, because he's so strong for where he is in the act. Now, interestingly enough, we come back through this area in Act, I think it's 8, and Gravicius' replacement is such a pushover. Now, we're going to keep wanting to move, and that gives us Molten Shell. And Molten Shell, when it does so much damage to us, will explode, dealing fire damage. Now, he has his own version of Molten Shell, which should come up at some point. And when it does, the same thing will happen to us, in that his molten shell will explode and end up damaging us. Now, if you're a bit weaker than me, you might want to kite him a bit. As I say, my axe is pretty strong. Okay, like that. And then up here. And this is Solari's Temple. Solari's Temple is pretty straightforward once we get in. In that, once you find this door, you basically just keep going in a straight line until the carpet turns. But yeah, it's given me so many essences. Giant mana flask, we're picking that up. If it'll actually pick up. There it is, let's swap that out. There we go, he's down. Keep following the carpet, I shouldn't. What the hell? I don't think I've ever had that many in such short notice. It's trying to slow me down, that's what it is. The game knows I want to be quick. And so it's going to do everything in its power to stop me. Come on. There we go, down. And again, we're just going to keep running. Now, through this door, you can actually walk around the sides. It's probably quicker. This carpet goes off to the right, and that's where we're going to go. Now, we're getting here. We're going to run through here. Now, don't stop moving, because that boss will kill you. Ignore the blues. Ow! Like that. That's what I wanted to avoid. And just keep running. Now, eventually in this area, we will find a waypoint and a set of stairs downwards. If we're lucky. Loads of blues here, so let's get them out of the way. Because otherwise they're going to probably kill us. And this looks like we're on the right... Yeah, there we go. And down the stairs. Yeah, this area is really bad, and this is why we wanted determination. Because these things that seem to shoot lasers... They do a really strong physical damage, and they will absolutely wreck you if you're not careful. Because we got Determination and Molten Shell. Molten Shell gives us an armor buff, and Determination gives us an armor buff. And actually, I'll show you that in action in a little while. If we go to C, you'll see our armor is 2,627, and it's giving us 90% physical damage reduction. We can ignore that, it's not true. Switch that off, we drop down to 80%, so that's a really big buff there. And it goes up again when we use Molten Shell. And again, they're slowing me down. I want to grab that shield. That shield gives us more armor. Energy shield and evasion. And what we're looking for in here is a set of stairs upwards. And that will repeat over and over again. So once we find the stairs, we're just going to keep looking for stairs. Always upwards. If you find a set of stairs that goes downwards, you're not going to follow it. Where is the stairs? Make sure we're using Corrupting Blood again, because it even kills rares really quick now. Ooh, you can see that currency is no longer as big an issue as it used to be. Okay, we completely missed the stairs. They are right there. He will probably hurt, so we'll ignore him. And use our Quicksilvers. Now, I didn't check the vendor when I went back to town to see if they got a full link. We'll have to do that, because I am now over 28. Now, I do feel the changes have completely made this game so much harder. Because it used to be, you used to get a completely fresh RNG every time you went back to the vendor, every time you leveled. Now he keeps most of his stuff, which means if you got a load of tat the first time round, you're going to continue to get that tat over and over again. And that's really annoying. It makes leveling actually much more difficult, I think. And I haven't heard anyone else talking about that, so if you feel the same way, let me know. Okay, when we're up here, we're going to look for the carts, and we want to go in the direction of only one cart, which is this way. The other one had two carts straight near the side wall. And then we run around here, and eventually we'll come to a big metal gate. There we go, big metal door. And then in here, we have to come in through this way. Normally it leaves you a straight path all the way to the exit. If it doesn't, then you can struggle to find it. And we're just searching for another one of those big gates. And I've got a feeling I'm going completely the wrong way, and I did. Okay, there's the big gates. And kill these blues. I'm going to grab that because a vendor recipe that gives you a red, blue, green linked gives you a chromatic orb. And we're probably going to want those to reroll some colours later. Now there is a crafting bench recipe that will guarantee sockets. I don't think we've got it yet. I shouldn't really kill her, but she deserves it. Etched greatsword. Let's just check that. We can use a sword or an axe early. And also Colossal Flask has opened. Probably shouldn't switch that just before the boss, but we've done it now. 38 to 80, 30 and 32. That is so strong. We're going to switch, I think, because that is so much stronger than that. Now, endgame, we probably are going to use an axe, but early on, we can switch. So, that... We're not going to use precision anymore, and we're going to actually switch to Defiance Banner. Defiance Banner gives us more armor and evasion. There's a theme here, you'll notice, and that is that I don't like dying. So the more defenses we can get early, the better. More blues. This is actually a really good area for getting blues. And then eventually we will go in here. Before we fight Piety, let's put on our 3 skill points. 1, 2. Okay, this makes our war cries instant. That is a war cry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set that to move. And Molten Shell to manual trigger. Now, as we walk around, we'll get the big heal off Enduring Cry. Let's kill her. Now, throughout this fight, she's going to throw lightning balls at you like you'd normally expect, but also the circles around the arena, she will jump into them and change form. And I really shouldn't have run out of mana before this fight. We're going to shred her, though. She's getting absolutely wrecked. Even in her powerful forms. There we go, she's down. Grab the key. And then over here, there's a crafting recipe, which gives us lightning damage. Okay, logging out and back in now, we are going to talk to Maramoa, and she is going to give us our next skill, which is Bladestorm. We're going to talk to Hagen, and we're going to sell this stuff that we're not going to use. Let's just check the boots first. No movement, no movement. There you go, chromatic orb for that. Get rid of the axe. Now, once we've done that, we are going to talk to Grigor, and he will give us a skill book for killing Piety. And we are now going to start pathing this way, and we're going to start picking up bleed notes. And I want to see if we can start to transition over to Bladestorm immediately. And that requires that we find 4 red items or 3 red items. Now the question is, do we have any fusings? 3. We can try and force a 3 link. It could go horribly wrong, but let's grab this chest and give it a go. So this re-rolls the number of links on an item. 3 link, sorted. Some changes are coming. First things first. Bladestorm. Link to chance to bleed. We are going to drop Spectral Helix, and we are going to drop Vicious Projectiles. And we are now going to go back to Act 2. Talk to Yena. Melee physical damage does not scale bleed, however this gem specifically says 32% more damage with bleeds and poison inflicted by melee skills, so this one does scale our bleed. Our next problem is we need gloves that aren't red, green, green, we need red, red, red. So check Groost. That is probably better. They're not linked, but they don't need to be. And we are going to go Determination, Enduring Cry, and I really need to find a spot for that, which I don't have yet. However, those boots could become replacements for that. Let's check an essence, see if we can be jammy and hit a movement speed roll. 15% movement. Yes. That was so lucky. Okay. Oh, Blood Rage. There we go, we can go there. While we're here, we're going to essence our chest piece as well. Fire resist, lightning resist, dexterity and armor. Nice. Okay, back to Act 3 now, and we're going straight back into the Ebony Barracks, where we fought Gravicius. And my skills have all moved. Let's put that back on. Let's put that back on. Something is... yeah, okay. All my skills are on the wrong buttons. That needs to be that. Okay. This skill is a little bit different. When we spin, it does basically put a load of blades around us, but there's so many of them that you can't see them. They're just a swirl. And you'll see what's actually happening here is that guy's getting hurt and he'll die. The skill isn't that simple, and that goes to something I missed. We need to go back to Act 1. We'll do that once we find the way. There we go, waypoint. And we need to pick up Blood and Sand. There we go. Blood and Sand is an aura. Okay, when we find this, up towards the top left, there's normally the Trial of Ascendancy, which we need to get. But what we now need to make sure is that on our middle mouse button, I now have this other aura. This aura only reserves 10% life and mana, but it now puts us into a different stance. When it's yellow, we're in sand stance, and our blades that we drop on the floor move. If we switch to blood stance, they stick where they are. Blood blade storms are stationary and cause bleeding, while sand blade storms move slowly forward and blind enemies, requires a sword or axe. And if we also look down here, 70% more damage with bleeding while in blood stance, so we do want to be in blood stance quite a lot. We also get 10% more attack speed while in blood stance. In sand stance, we get 30% increased movement speed once we're in a blade storm. So we're just going to find this Trial of Ascendancy, which should be here somewhere. I'm stuck. It should be here somewhere. You'll see, this actually does pretty short work. Now, there's some other monsters in here that cause you problems if you haven't got determination. I don't think I've bumped into any yet, but as soon as I do, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, there's the trial, I think. Through these doors. There's a crafting recipe over here. Those darts poison and slow. And then grab the little thingy and out. Now you'll notice we've only got one more we need now. And that's back in Act 2. We didn't get it at the time because it would have slowed us down, because it's actually fair run, and the more movement speed you got, the quicker that will be. What I keep forgetting is the exit point is always from the waypoint, so I just logged out and back in to be quicker than actually walking back. Now what you want to do is find these carts and basically follow the cart. They'll turn around this corner here, keep following them, and eventually we will get straight to the Spire of God or whatever it's called. These things. Now when these things explode, they fire out those little things and they do physical damage as well. They can one-shot you and they're the bane of some people's lives. Yeah, Scepter of God. Okay, we want to get up here as quickly as possible as well. Now at the top of this tower, there is a big boss and loads of mini-bosses with him. Hopefully we're now doing enough damage that he won't be a problem to us. That sword upgrade is huge. Now in here we're just following a series of stairs. Now those stairs are always in a corner. So what we're looking for here is the stairs to be in a corner, and if they're not in that corner we just go to another one. So they're not in the top left, so let's try bottom left. I don't see them through there either. So they're probably bottom right. There you go. So they're always going to be in a corner. And then we're just going to repeat this through several levels of this tower. And all the levels of these towers are absolutely identical. So rather than just bore you by going through the same monsters over and over again, I'll come back once we find the clue that tells us where the exit to the boss is. Okay, this big thing that sticks through the floor. When you see that, you're either one floor below where you need to be, or you're where you need to be, and then the exit, if it's the right one, will always be up here behind these grates. This is where the boss fight takes place. Now what I'm going to suggest is, get here, and let's start laying down some damage, so when these things come out of suspense, they get hurt. Now these mini-bosses, this Cyclone character, they all use skills that we can use. So they are much more difficult than normal mobs. So we are just going to want to put blade storms down, and while they're down, they're just going to deal damage, even if we're nowhere near them. So we've put 3 down there, which is the maximum we can put out without a helm enchant, and you'll see it deals damage, or deals damage. Let's put on Corrupting Blood, because I forgot again. Make sure everything's dead, grab those boots. And there's another one. We leveled. Remember to put that skill on before we fight Dominus. And there's another boss. What's he using? Don't know. It's not nice. Callie the Crazed is going to die. And someone's using Reeve. And we're going to kill him as well. And he's actually called the Reaver. Now, while he's dying, let's put on a skill point. And we are going to start going up through this bleed. Chance to call bleeding has increased. Okay. Now, he will shoot our totem. If it gets his attention. It didn't in this case, but normally... Life Flask will save you from his little beams. Nothing is going to save you much from his slam on the floor. That hurts like hell and will one-shot most players, especially if you don't have armor. The touch of God. You never want to be in the touch of God. You won't appreciate it. Okay, he's gone now. Now, he's given us the opportunity, because we're over here, to actually kill these monsters and get some flash charges back, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if I wanted to run super fast, I probably wouldn't do this. I'd just go back to town through a portal and come back. Now, we've also got Enduring Cry, which we're going to remember to use. He's going to go into the floor now and come back in his beast form. We'll come back when that happens. It takes a while. Whenever we're fighting bosses, we want to be in blood stance. So let's throw down our 3 bleeds, and we're just going to run around him, because if he hits us, he's going to inflict bleed. And we're the character that does that. We don't want it inflicting on us. And just avoid his feet. Now, while this fight goes on, there's this rain that comes down, the red rain. That will kill you if you're not within the shield around him. So stay within his shield when that comes up. And we are doing some damage now. Enduring Cry keeps picking us back up when we're almost dead, which is nice. And then I keep pressing the wrong button. And just use your life flask when Enduring Cry isn't up. And eventually he's going to drop dead. Loot and out. Okay, Cockroach Lady. Talk to her, she'll say bye-bye. And then here we go. Now through here we're going to go as quickly as possible again, because this is the path to Act 4. This is the last thing standing between us and the next act. And it's just a case of weaving left and right across the arena as you get these little chances, because you'll get a dead end and then you'll have to cross the river to keep going. And again, same rules as always, kill blues. And then, eventually, which I think is around about now, we're coming up to a boss. So we're going to kill these blues. We're going to run across here, and as soon as we run onto here, a boss is going to drop from the ceiling. Just keep running. There's no reason to kill him, other than to slow yourself down. Ooh, those blues, I want those blues. Let's use some sand blade storms, because blinding these archers sounds nice. What blind does is it makes the enemy's accuracy much lower, so you won't get hit as often. You compare that with evasion to be much more powerful. Now, blind changed a little while ago. It used to be that blind always worked. Blind now only works if you've got accuracy to start with. And that's it, we're in Act 4. Let's check this vendor to see if she's got any 4 links, but apart from that, upgraded axe to 73. That could actually be powerful. The other thing is, because we're going bleed, we now don't want elemental damage quite so much, because elemental damage doesn't cause any bleed scaling. This will, and that's 3 red. Just see if he's got any 4 links. She hasn't. I really do want that axe. Let's grab it. Can't use it yet. And then we are going to check to see if we have. We've got one of those. Go to her, and we're going to buy a belt. This one. It has to be a rustic sash. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use an essence to make it gold. If you don't have an essence, just use a transmute to make it blue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sell the axe we just bought back to her with the belt and the whetstone. And this gives us 61% increased physical damage So that's 79 up to 118. So that's a huge damage boost. So that's the vendor recipe that gives you increased physical damage. If you only have the blue version of the belt, you will get less damage off it. Now what we're also going to do is roll one of these on here to see if we get a decent roll, and we didn't. Increased stun duration on enemies, not going to help us much. In the next one, I'll be showing you Act 4 and the Ascendancy. I hope you found this useful. If you do want to see more, then please leave a comment and a like. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.